When we talk about the most powerful beings in fiction, names like Superman, Galactus, or even Darkseid often dominate the discussion. But today's clash takes us far beyond those cosmic giants. This is not a battle of superheroes or villains, it is a war of concepts, of forces so massive that the entire multiverse trembles in their wake. On one side, we have the Beyonder, one of the most enigmatic entities Marvel has ever created. On the other, we face Perpetua, the primordial mother of DC's entire cosmic architecture. Let's begin with the Beyonder. Originally introduced in Marvel's Secret Wars, the Beyonder wasn't just powerful, he was beyond comprehension. His very name suggests something that lies outside of everything known. The Beyonder comes from a realm beyond the multiverse itself, an omnipotent dimension of limitless potential. Pre-retcon, he was portrayed as a being whose power dwarfed the living tribunal, eternity, and even the collective might of Marvel's cosmic pantheon. His abilities include absolute reality manipulation, turning thoughts into existence, rewriting the fabric of universes, and casually nullifying the powers of omnipotent beings. Imagine a child with infinite power, experimenting with creation simply because he wants to understand what it means to live. That is the Beyonder in his rawest form. Now, let's step into DC's infinite landscapes. Perpetua is not just another cosmic entity, she is the architect of the very multiverse. Created as part of the Source, she was tasked with constructing multiverses that would evolve and sustain themselves. But unlike her peers, Perpetua sought perfection through destruction. Her grand design involved creating universes that fed upon each other, allowing for survival of the strongest realities. She birthed the Monitor, the Anti-Monitor, and the World Forger, three beings who would each carry a part of her essence. But her defiance against the Source led to her imprisonment, and when she returned, her destructive vision threatened the very core of DC's existence. She is, in essence, the Destroyer disguised as a creator. So here we stand, with the Beyonder, the childlike creator who can manipulate all of existence at will, and Perpetua, the mother of destruction who designs and dismantles multiverses as if they were chess pieces. The stage is set for a battle not bound by physics, time, or space. Cosmic philosophies, creation against destruction. In any fight of this magnitude, raw power is only part of the equation. Just as important are the philosophies that drive these titanic beings. The Beyonder's ideology is curiosity. Despite possessing infinite power, his primary motivation is to experience existence, to understand what it means to be limited. This is why he meddled with superheroes and villains in Secret Wars, creating battle worlds and testing their morality. His actions were often reckless, but not always malevolent. His view of reality is fluid. To him, the universe is like clay, and he is the sculptor still learning how to shape it. But that very innocence can also make him unstable. He has been known to destroy without realizing the consequences, simply because he wanted to see what would happen. Perpetua, in contrast, is cold, structured, and deliberate. Her philosophy is not curiosity, it is domination. She sees destruction as a tool for ultimate perfection. Her multiverse was designed not for balance, but for conflict, for survival of the fittest universes. Her children, the Monitor, Anti-Monitor, and World Forger, reflect aspects of her design philosophy, creation, destruction, and balance. But Perpetua herself stands above them all, driven by a singular goal, to unmake and reshape reality until it reflects her vision. Unlike the Beyonder's improvisational chaos, Perpetua's destruction is intentional and carefully engineered. This clash of ideology is crucial. Where Beyonder represents pure, untamed creation, Perpetua embodies systematic unmaking. Their fight isn't just about who has the bigger cosmic fist, it's about whether chaos can outlast structure, whether curiosity can overpower inevitability. Unleashed power, the multiversal battle scenario. Now let's imagine the battlefield. It wouldn't be Earth. It wouldn't even be a galaxy. The sheer scale of their conflict would ripple across multiverses, collapsing realities like dominoes. When the Beyonder decides to strike, he doesn't need weapons or armies. A single thought is enough to annihilate dimensions or craft entire new ones. In a fight, he could strip Perpetua of her creations, erase her anti-crisis energy, or simply will her designs into non-existence. His unpredictability makes him terrifying. One moment he could rewrite physics, the next he could undo her very essence. But Perpetua is no ordinary foe. She commands the raw anti-crisis energy, capable of unraveling the very laws that sustain existence. She could send waves of destructive energy that collapse entire timelines in seconds. Her control over the multiversal structure allows her to rebuild as quickly as she destroys. Unlike Beyonder's chaotic experiments, her attacks are calculated, aiming at weak points in the multiverse to maximize collapse. She could attempt to trap the Beyonder within a broken framework of realities, using his own curiosity against him. The battlefield itself would not survive. Universes would flicker in and out of existence as their powers collided. Stars would be born and die in an instant, entire histories erased before they were even written. To mere mortals, this war would look like flashes of impossible light and darkness, stretching across infinity. To cosmic entities like Galactus, Spectre, or even the Presence and the Living Tribunal, it would be an event that defines the rules of their existence. Strategic edge, weaknesses and advantages. Every god has a weakness, and even beings as vast as these are no exception. The key lies in how their strengths can be exploited. The Beyonder's greatest strength is also his most dangerous flaw, his curiosity. He does not always fight with purpose. Sometimes he observes, sometimes he experiments, and sometimes he hesitates. A cunning opponent like Perpetua could manipulate him, creating illusions or scenarios that appeal to his desire to learn. By distracting him with existential questions, she might delay his strikes long enough to seize the advantage. Perpetua, however, carries her own vulnerability. Her power, while vast, is rooted in structure and control. She thrives when she is executing her plan with precision. But the Beyonder's very nature is unpredictability. He does not follow rules. His chaos could destabilize her strategies, forcing her into situations she cannot control. Moreover, her arrogance has historically been her downfall. She believes in her superiority so completely that she often underestimates her opponents. Against a being whose power is conceptually limitless, this arrogance could prove fatal. So the question becomes, can Perpetua's structure outlast the storm of the Beyonder's chaos, or will her overconfidence lead her into his trap? The final outcome, who would win? Now comes the ultimate decision. Who would stand victorious in this battle of creation and destruction? If we examine raw power alone, pre-retcon Beyonder is simply beyond Perpetua's scale. His feats are described as transcending the multiverse, overpowering entities that embody fundamental cosmic laws. Perpetua, while immensely powerful within the DC structure, operates inside the boundaries of her own multiverse. Her strength is terrifying, but it is still tethered to the system she was designed to govern. The Beyonder, by contrast, comes from outside all systems. He exists beyond Marvel's multiverse, beyond any concept of limitation. In a direct clash, his limitless reality warping would eventually overpower her anti-crisis energies. That being said, the fight would not be one-sided. Perpetua's strategy, manipulation, and multiversal control could keep the battle balanced for a time. She could wound him, confuse him, even destabilize his power. But ultimately, the Beyonder's sheer unpredictability and boundless might make him the likely victor. So, the final result is this: Perpetua may be a destroyer of multiverses, but the Beyonder is the creator of possibilities beyond multiverses. And in a war between destruction and creation, creation holds the final word. The Beyonder would win. Check out my other videos for more epic character crossovers and battles. Thanks for watching, and stay happy and healthy.